Welcome, all my fellow Redskin brethren and sistren. I am your man and resident Redskins fan, Lou. Thank you for joining me here on the Redskins Report. Quickly on the R3 Redskins Rapid React. I almost don't know where to begin. I'm so proud of the fellas. This may be the most gratifying win in the regular season in the last 5 years, going back to the Robert Griffin III 2012 season capper against the Cowboys to win the division. Just for a regular season game without the entire season being on the line, I don't know if it gets much better than this from a standpoint of we had no business winning that football game going into it on paper with the guys that we had injured. I pronounced the season dead on Tuesday. And just like the Seahawks, the Redskins season needed to see the doc. And fortunately for us as fans, the doc was in today. And so we'll get to that a little bit later on. I guess Kirk Cousins doesn't perform well in big moments against good teams. That's what I was told. I don't know. I'm just saying. With four funnies in front of him, no Jordan Reed, no Jamison Crowder, he's throwing to the likes of Vernon Davis. He's throwing to Brian Quick, Ryan Grant, and others. Josh Doxson, Terrell Pryor. But Kirk Cousins doesn't perform well in big spots with the game on the line. He chokes all the time. So, but we're not going down that route today. That's not what we're here to do. Wow. This is going to be an extended version of the R3 because I want to get to some of your comments. We're not staying here all night though, because I know y'all are excited just like I am. But we're not going to do the whole all night thing. But Jay Gruden's play call, I thought in this game was absolutely horrid, and I'm not letting him off the hook just because we won the game. That aside, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. Let's talk about the positives first, and you got to start with the defense. I mean, this game reminded me a lot of the Baltimore game last year. Remember that game on the road that we probably shouldn't have won, but we found a way to win, and the defense was outstanding. That game reminds me a lot of this game. And the defense, it looks so much different with both corners, Josh Norman and Vitamin B on the other side. It looks just vastly different. It allows Greg Minuski to be a lot more aggressive. And even when Q-Bar is on the outside, I think they just feel really good about what they can do with those corners out there. And then Kendall Fuller, come on, man. I know a lot of you were talking trash about Fuller after his rookie season. I told y'all, chill. Get a man a chance. He's coming off of microfracture surgery. Give him some time to heal. And he was outstanding in this game. He's been outstanding all season long. What about D. Hall, though? What about the wily vet coming off of the pup list and playing his brains out? All right? That last play of the game that almost gave all of us a heart attack, D. Hall had to make that play, or Jimmy Graham's coming down with that football in the end zone to break our hearts. The play down the field one-on-one with one of the receivers, I want to say it was Doug Baldwin, might have been Jimmy Graham, one-on-one, D. Hall knocking the football away. I mean, he was outstanding in this game, was D. Hall. Even returned punts for us. Again, he didn't return anything of note, but still, just the fact that he was asked to do that his first week back off the pup list speaks volumes for what he's able to bring to the table. Zach Brown was a menace. He was everywhere. And look, the Redskins need to re-sign that man, not now, like right now. Okay, remember, he's on a one-year deal. He's been the best thing. And the one thing that he gives us defensively that we lack when he's not on the field is speed defensively. We don't have it without him. And he gives us the speed that we're missing in that front seven. And it shows time in and time out again because he's sideline to sideline every single week. He's double-digit tackles every single week. And he did it again. He did it again in this game. And I thought he was tremendous in this football game. I can't speak to the level of confidence that I have in Will Compton. I know a lot of Redskin fans love beating up Will Compton. And I told you guys, Will Compton is going to play an integral part in our success defensively at some point this season because I didn't expect us to stay healthy at the linebacker position all year long. And I knew this time would come when we would need Will Compton to step up. And Comp was huge, had to pick, just like Fuller had to pick. Almost had another one. Should have had another one. Not the one where he tipped in the air when he dropped into coverage over the middle of the field. I'm talking about the one that Russell Wilson, under duress, throws it up and he slips and falls, tips it into the air, and almost catches it on the camera. If he doesn't fall down, that's a pick. And so he should have had 2 on the day, possibly 3 after he deflected one over the middle of the field. But that's nor here nor there. The defense, how about J-No on the tackle on 3rd and 1? That was a crucial play in this game. If they convert there, they're going to eat up the clock. We're going to have to start using our timeouts. We're probably not going to win this football game. But he's able to get the stop on Thomas Rawls, preventing them from converting on that 3rd down and having to punt the football to us. It allowed us to put together a drive. It allowed us to flip the field position. It allowed us to flip it back onto them. So I love that play by J-No. We were extremely physical all game long. We matched their intensity with intensity of our own. I said going into the game to myself, how much you want to bet it's going to be raining? It was nice and sunny last week when they played Houston. And I said, watch us get there. It's going to be cold. It's going to be wet and muggy and nasty, which, again, doesn't suit our brand of football. Well, it did today, even though we didn't run the football as well as I would have liked us to. And I don't think we gave the run game enough opportunities. Again, that goes back on to Jay Gruden. But nonetheless, we hung tough. Kirk hung tough. He took some shots. He needs to protect the football better. When he gets hit, I see him being a little lackadaisical on that near fumble with Freeney. You're gonna get sacked. Put 2 hands on the damn football, put it away. And to me, he's too casual with that football when he's getting hit. He needs to worry about protecting the football more and less about bracing for impact. He needs to realize he's got to take care of the football. That is priority number 1 if you're going to get sacked. I don't think he does a good enough job of doing that. You can't take the sack there for the safety early in the ball game. That's a no-no. But when we needed Kirk Cousins to step up in this game, he made some big throws. How about the throw to Ryan Grant on the dig route over the middle of the football field where he takes a shot right in the kisser? I'm talking about smack dab in his helmet, personal foul penalty. Can't even see Grant coming. He just knows and trusts that he'll be where he's supposed to be. Excellent catch by Grizzy to make that one stick and then tackle on the 15. What about the throw to Brian Quick late in the game where he takes another shot and throws it, and Quick makes a great adjustment on that football, takes a hell of a shot from Cam Chancellor. I mean, that's a big-time play. That's big-time football. And then the throw to Doxson. For the first time all year long as a Redskin fan, we're proud to say the Doc was in. And you know, the Raiders catch was great, but we didn't need it that night. We needed this catch. He didn't make it against Kansas City. I told you, let's hope that that was a learning experience for him. He made the catch this time, and he didn't make it last week against Dallas, and we were all down on him. He makes the catch this week. I told you I've never lost confidence in him. He's a finesse player, but he was tough on that comeback route against Dick Sherman when he was being molested. Should have been a flag. And he was tough on that catch, going to the ground, knowing he was going to have to brace for impact, and coming down with that grab. The Doc was in today, and we needed him. And how about Kirk Cousins on that final drive? How about Kirk Cousins throughout the day, taking shots behind a shoddy offensive line and getting up and making the plays necessary to will this team to a victory? But again, I guess he doesn't get it done in the crucial clutch moments. I guess he chokes all the time. That's what I've been told. He didn't get it done against good football teams on the road. That's what I've been told. So in any event, what about the job the defense did on the final possession? Look, even us up 17-14, I still wasn't confident that we weren't going to overtime. I still said, oh, they got a minute left. The worst thing the Seahawks did was when they scored, even though I thought it was over, I didn't think we were going to go down and score. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and act like I had the utmost confidence. We hadn't scored any points since, what, the first half? I mean, we hadn't scored any points since the second quarter. Like, for me to sit here and act like I thought we were going to drive down the field and score a touchdown and take the lead back, that's nonsense, all right? I didn't think we were going to score, but the worst thing they could have done in that situation, they only needed a field goal. The worst thing they could have done was score there. Doug Baldwin should have went down. Now, again, when you got field goal kicking issues with Blair Walsh, I don't blame them. You take the touchdown. Blair Walsh is an ass, and you can't leave him out there and leave it to chance with him. The same Seahawks team saw him miss a chip shot field goal to win versus them in the playoffs with Minnesota. So you couldn't just say, all right, go down at the 1, let's bleed the clock, and let's try to win this thing on a field goal, because you can't trust him. He's already missed 3 kicks in the game. So I didn't think – that was the worst thing they could have done, though, was score there, because it gave us the ball back with 1:08 and 2 timeouts. And I'm like, well, we got plenty of time. You know, we got plenty of time. I don't think we're going to do anything with it, but we got plenty of time. And it just so happens that we were able, or I think it was like more like a minute and 36 or 39 or something to that effect. But like we got plenty of time. But are we gonna do anything with it? And then Kirk makes the check down to Thompson, and I'm thinking to myself, nah, we probably not gonna do nothing. And then he makes the throw to Quick, and I'm like, oh damn, we got a shot. It's gonna get interesting. And then he makes the throw to Doc, and boy, that was a thing of beauty. Great catch, great throw. Great concentration by Doc to pull it in, and all of a sudden now you're at the 1, and I'm like, don't F this up, guys. In my mind I'm thinking, if we could just run one play, they had no more timeouts left. If we could just run one play, eat off 40 seconds, snap it, and then score, we got them. But at the same time, I don't want to mess around. We're not good in short yardage situations. All it takes is one holding penalty or something stupid to happen, a false start. Anything, any kind of stupid penalty, and it'll just wipe out this great opportunity to score right now. And so I was like, nah, get the touchdown right now. And we got it on the first play with Rob Kelly. And at that point, you're just like, hey, guys, don't F this up. We worked too hard for this. And it didn't hit me until, and we got screwed at the end of the game. I'm gonna talk about that, and I'm going to talk about Jay Gruden's play call, and then we're going to get to your comments. We got screwed at the end of the game because even up until the point of us getting the touchdown, the extra point, which I was like, hey, Nick, don't piss me off. Put this through the uprights. He did. I still wasn't confident that this game wasn't going to overtime. And then after we got to Russell Wilson, and great job by Terrell McClain of getting to him, they jerked us. So the Seahawks go up to the line, and they spike the football with 4 seconds left, right? But they go back and look at the play to see if he was down. So that meant the ball was supposed to go back to the original spot, and the clock was supposed to go back to 11 seconds. That down was supposed to never count, and it was supposed to be a 10-second runoff because the clock was running because of the sack. It should have been 1 second, and the clock was supposed to wind on the referee's signal for play, which meant the Seahawks had to be at the line of scrimmage as soon as he marked signal for play and snapped the football, and that was supposed to be the last down. It shouldn't have been, he's down, the ruling on the field has been confirmed. Then why is it only 4 seconds? That means that play never happened. If you're going back and challenging him being sacked and his knee was down, then there's no way that spike was supposed to take place. They shouldn't have had 4 seconds. We shouldn't have had an opportunity to call a timeout and give them a chance to set up what they wanted to do. That was garbage. But we've been absolutely as a team late in ball games with calls. We've been jerked around. I don't want to cuss. We've been jerked around this year. The Eagles game with the fumble that wasn't a fumble. The Vernon Davis play where I didn't think he fumbled. But we got redemption in that game with the OPI with Pierre. But nonetheless, we got jerked around there. And luckily enough for us, the football guys resurrected that with the D'Angelo Hall knockaway, and we were able to come away with the victory there. Jay Gruden's play calling. I thought on a day where you knew the offensive line was struggling with the interior pressure, hell, with just the pressure in general, the Seahawks were applying with just 4. You got to throw more screens, man. And I understand they're not coming with pressure, they're not blitzing, but Chris Thompson didn't touch it enough for me in this game. You got to set up some screens. You got to get the football into his hands more. You got to find a way to get it done, and we didn't get it done in the play calling department. I thought we were too predictable. I thought that we went away from the run too early and too often. I didn't think there was enough balance behind an offensive line that was struggling. And despite all of that, the last drive of the game, outstanding play calls, outstanding execution. It kind of wipes away the entire game. But Jay's got to be better. I've given him a pass on numerous occasions because I know we can't run the football. But this was the type of game where you needed to at least give off the impression, with the offensive line being what it was, being on the road, wet, nasty environment. Similar to last week against Dallas, I didn't think we ran it enough. I don't think we gave ourselves an opportunity to stay and remain balanced, which allowed the Cowboys to tee off on Kirk. Same thing here. You got to allow the offensive line an opportunity by running the football. And I don't think we did that. I don't think Jay gave them an opportunity. I don't think we ran enough quick game. I don't think we ran enough screens. I don't think we ran enough things to throw the Seahawks off balance and make them think twice about just rushing up the field and coming after our QB. But nonetheless, we got away with it. So I'm not complaining. Redskins win the game 17-14. Who pronounced this season dead again? Was that me? Yeah, that was me. Hell yeah, fellas. Way to goddamn fight, man. And even if we would have lost this game, at halftime, I thought the game's going to get away from us in the third quarter because we've been a notorious bad football team in the third quarter. And so I was expecting, to give up points right before the half. And luckily enough for us, Blair Walsh just couldn't kick a field goal to save his life today. So we needed that help because that would have been 9 points if he put those points through the uprights. Hell, just one of those field goals go in and it's a tie game going to overtime instead of us winning. And the game drastically changes because the Seahawks don't go for two. The Seahawks don't go for two twice. If he makes at least one of those field goals, is a different scoring game. So all of that is of no consequence to us. He missed. We took advantage. That's great for us. I was just proud of the effort that the guys showed up and played with because I was expecting to get blown out in this game. I'm not going to lie to you. You show up with about 13 to 15 guys not being able to play. The way the NFL rules are set up, you can only deactivate 7 guys on your roster on game day. We had 15 guys hurt, so literally 8 guys had to dress for the Redskins, but had no chance of playing because of just the way the NFL rules are set up. Brandon Sheriff dressed today. He had no chance of playing. He was an emergency offensive lineman. Like when Tyler Catalina went out early with his eye, when he got poked in the eye or his contact came out, whatever happened to his eye, they brought in Tony Bergstrom. Like, they didn't want Sheriff in the game. We had at least 4 or 5 guys that were like that today where they were active, but there was no chance of them playing. None. Unless it was like the absolute last thing we could do. So to be as banged up as we were, no Jordan Reed, no Niles Paul, no Jamison Crowder. I mean, to see the way, no Trent Williams, no Brandon Sheriff, no Sean Laval, no Spencer Long. That's just on offense. That's just on offense. Okay? We were lining up Ryan Anderson, our second-round pick outside linebacker, at fullback in short yardage situations because we didn't have a fullback. Jeremy Sprinkle me, bitch. Sprinkle me. He was in the game. When has Jeremy Sprinkle ever been active for us? It was crazy. I mean, defensively, Will Compton starting because there's no Mason Foster. It was good to get back the full complement of guys in the secondary, but no Nick Nasty in this game. He was out. I mean, it was crazy how many dudes we had out in this game, and we still competed. Obviously, no Jonathan Allen, no Matt Ioannidis, no Matt Illey. We were all over the place, and yet these boys came out and fought their asses off. And so I was proud. I was just proud with a close loss, to be honest with you. And, you know, I'm not one to sit here and talk about moral victories. Get the hell out of my face with that. But I was so proud of the fellas for just competing the way that they did that I was expecting to lose it. Even when the score got to 10-8, I said, we're going to lose this game 11-10 or we're going to lose this game 14-10. We're going to lose this game, though. We're going to lose, but I'm proud of the fellas for the way they competed. And the fact that after they took the lead, I thought that was it. I'm not going to lie. I thought 14-10 was it. And the fact that we were able to battle back 4 plays, 70 yards, 2 strikes from Kirk down the field. And just like that, touchdown, Rob Kelly end zone. Boy, I still thought we were going to overtime. The defense didn't deserve to lose this game. This is the defense that we saw earlier in the season. This is the defense that we saw against the Raiders. This is the defense that we saw against the Rams at times. This is the defense that we saw in the first half versus Kansas City. This is the defense that we said, with this kind of play, we got a shot to make the postseason. If we would have just been a little bit healthier earlier, we might be 5-3, 6-2 right now. But that doesn't matter. This win is so big because it means our season isn't over. That's what this game means. You go down to 3-5, and you are fighting for your life next week at home versus Minnesota. Now, even if you don't win next week at Minnesota, 4-5 is not a death sentence. because you can still go on the road and beat New Orleans. We just proved for the second time this season in a compromising position, needing a win, that we can go on the road in a hostile environment against all odds and win. We did it in week 2 when we were down 0-1, couldn't afford to go 0-2, and have 2 straight primetime games left. We knew we couldn't lose to the Rams. And we went on the road and beat them in Los Angeles. Look at how good that team is. Tell me that's not a quality road win. We are down 3-4. Okay, we're 3-4. Can't afford to lose this game. I thought the season was over. I pronounced the season dead on Tuesday. Okay, I pronounced the season. I was wrong. I'm glad to be wrong. I pronounced the season dead on Tuesday. I did a Mike Shanahan circa 2012. We're going to start evaluating players for next season. And the fellas, the ones that were left, stood up and said, no. You said you wanted meaningful football in November? We got you, bro. We got you. And they went out and they gutted out a dub on the road against Seattle, who had won 4 straight, playing outstanding football, having never lost this season at home to date. We went and did that against all odds. So even if we don't get it done next week against Minnesota, which this win here is going to allow some guys to get back healthy. We should get Sheriff back, you would think. We'll get some of our linemen back. Jamison Crowder may be able to play next week. Maybe Jordan Reed can come back. Matt Ioannidis should be able to come back if what they were telling us was true. If he's having a surgery and they're going to be able to put a cast on it, he may be able to play next week. So he may get healthier next week and have a shot against Minnesota at home. But even if we don't get it done, the season's not dead, and the NFC conference is wide open at 4-4. We're right in the thick of things for a wild card spot. I couldn't be proud I couldn't be any more prouder of the fellas. Great job by Greg Minuski of mixing things up. Great job by this defense. Swearinger, Norman, Vitamin B, Q-Bar, all of the fellas in the secondary. D. Hall, what a comeback for him. He was outstanding in this game. I can't stress that enough, how good he was back there. Zach Brown, my goodness. Zach Brown was a stud again today. They got to resign. He's priority 1B after Kirk. They've got to resign him. I want Vitamin B back, but I think that price tag may be a little too high when it's all said and done. But that's another conversation for another day. Let's get to your comments on this extended version of the R3. Redskins somehow, some way go on the road and win an improbable game against the Seattle Seahawks, 17-14. The Seahawks should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely ashamed of themselves to lose to us in a situation where we were undermanned, understaffed, and just playing off of sheer will, guts, and heart. They let us come in there and steal one from them. They should be ashamed of themselves. Let's get to your comments, though. We'll try to knock down as many of these as we can. Peter Parker says, like I've been saying all year, pay that man. They're not listening, Peter Parker, man. You can save it, bro. We've been yelling that for, what, 2 years now, going on 3 years. They're not listening to us, man. Melvin Glossen says, damn, it feels good to get this win. Boy, do the Skins always scare us down to the last millisecond. You ain't lying, bro. I'm going to tell you what, though. When Terrell McClain got to Russell Wilson and it was a sack and they jerked us, they botched that whole end of the game situation to the officials. New York should have gotten it right, should have got the clock right, should have got everything situated. They screwed us there, but nonetheless, I felt like we won. I had went and got my hat. I had already set up everything for the video, but of course it was still the Hail Mary. And as confident as I was, they weren't scoring there. Because I said, no, there's no way they're taking this from us. We've worked too hard. We've come too far. They can't have it now. They can't take this back from us. It's ours. Yeah, they made us sweat down to the last milliseconds. You're not lying, Melvin. Absolutely. John Perez says, what a great game. Kirk Cousins does it again, and all those people who never gave us a chance can shut up for a while. HTTR. There you go. There you have it. I mean, if that's the case, then I should be shutting up because I didn't give us a chance either. But to your initial point, I mean, for all of the people who don't, and again, the people who don't like Kirk, don't think Kirk's good, don't think he's worth the money, nothing he does is going to change their mind. That's what we have to acknowledge. There's nothing that he can do. There's nothing that we can say to those people to get them to understand that he gives us a shot every single week. And no, he doesn't get it done in every single situation, but what quarterback does? But he gives us a chance. And we haven't been able to say that for the last 20 years because we haven't had a stable situation at quarterback. He gives us that, and he proved why he does deserve the money and why he should be the quarterback here in D.C. This is a big win, man. Jay Gruden was so ecstatic at the end of the game, much like most of us. And this was a big one. Like I said, going back to 2012 versus the Cowboys in the season finale, regular season finale to clinch the division, I haven't been more excited and proud of the fellas for a win in the regular season than that one right there. That was refreshing. Jonas McConan says, time to go on a run and punch a ticket to the dance. It'd be nice, but we got a long way to go, and there are more losses on the way, trust me. I mean, this feels good. Don't overreact. Do not overreact. But I can tell you this, from a defensive standpoint, if we can get this kind of effort defensively moving forward, we're going to have a chance to win every single game we play. Every game we play. Because you got to think the offense is going to be better than what they were today when we start to get some of our stuff back. So if we can get this type of defensive effort from the fellas, we got a shot, man. But again, it's hard to say that we're going to be able to get this because a lot of guys got injured in this game again. And you never know the severity until the day after. Till Tuesday when Jay gives us the press conference to tell us this person is going to require surgery, this person sustained this injury. We didn't know Jamison Crowder got hurt last week. He had 108 yards receiving. We didn't know he was hurt. Then we found out hamstring and knee after the game, and we're like, what? He's not playing this week. So we don't know how bad the damage is, but Vernon Davis took one to the ribs. We could find out tomorrow. Yeah, broken ribs for Vernon Davis. He's going to be out for the next couple of weeks. You just never know. So I'm just excited about the win. I'm just going to enjoy the win for what it was. Robin Sanders says, where's all the Kirk haters at saying he only threw interceptions on game-winning drives? They're not going to show up, Robin. This is not their time. They're not going to show up. They'll show up when Kirk chokes, when Kirk doesn't make a big play, and blame everything on Kirk as if this isn't a team game and it's as if the defense didn't do this or the rest of the offense didn't do that. That's when they'll blame Kirk. This was not solely a Kirk win. The defense was more a part of this win than the offense was. This was the defense stepping up and giving but when we needed Kirk and the offense to deliver, they did that in this game, and that's why you have to give the man credit, but they're not going to do that, Robin. They're not going to show up for this type of game. Cloud says, it's a win. A win-win. If y'all lost, I would have had y'all on my picks. If y'all won, that makes it easier for the Birds to get that first seed. You need to worry about Dallas. Don't worry about the Seahawks or number one seed. Worry about winning the division first because Dallas is right there. They got you twice. And Ezekiel Elliott is probably going to get suspended, which I think is a crock of crap. But if he's able to play against the Eagles twice, they got a chance to beat you twice. And they're only 2 games back in the division. So at 5-3, well, 2.5 games back because you haven't had a bye yet. But they're right there. So we'll see what happens. Robin Sanders says, you need a network job. I appreciate it. I really do. Tyler Rodriguez says, Josh Norman was so pissed on the Seahawks touchdown drive thinking they lost the game. He was because he was the one that gave up the touchdown. He got beat off the line of scrimmage. He tried to jam Doug Baldwin, and the Angry Bird gave him a nasty swim move off the line of scrimmage. Almost knocked J-No down on the play, and he was wide open. It was man-to-man. He was beaten. That's why he was so wide open, and he thought that was the ball game, and he thought, damn, we played this well. We hadn't been giving it up all game long like that, and boom, I give it up. And he was pissed. He should have been. Assad Ahmed says, why did Jay Gruden wait until the fourth quarter to take shot with Doxson? They better re-sign Breland and Zach Brown for long term. I feel the same way about Zach Brown. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep Bree, and I think the reason they drafted Fab in the third round is because they knew they weren't going to be able to put any more money into the cornerback position, making sure that, because remember, Fuller's going to be up not the next year, but the year after that. Fuller's going to be up. So I don't think they can really dump any more money. You know, if Bree doesn't get a ton of money out on the free agent market, we may be able to re-sign him. But, you know, the cornerback position, they throw money at guys at that position, and he's going to get paid in the offseason. If he stays healthy for the remainder of the year, he's going to get broken off, and he's going to be gone. So I think it's going to be a situation where they're going to trust Q-Bar, stick him in. Fab Moreau's going to be there. They like Halsey. You still got Fuller and Jano. I think that's how you're gonna see them move forward with that position. But Zach Brown is a must. Zach Brown is a must for sure. Poopin' for Nupin says, good win, but Kirk took too many sacks instead of throwing it away. He needs to start trusting Dotson and throw some of those balls he did at the end rather than taking sacks. How do you know that those plays are called for shots down the field? How do you know everybody's not covered? And these are quick pressures. It's not like Kirk is just standing back there for 5 seconds. Nobody's open and he's holding on to the football. These are quick pressures. Guys are getting beat. How many times did we see the left tackle, his name will come to me, T.J. Clemens, get his ass whooped by the ageless wonder, Dwight Freeney, with a spin move. Dwight was goddamn blessing that man, showing him how to do it. Dwight's like 800 years old. T.J. Clemens is a fresh young man, spring chicken, should be able to handle an old wily veteran like Dwight Freeney, and Dwight was punishing him, showing him how to do it. Quick pressure. So you can't say, Kirk, take the shot. What if there was no shots available? What if nobody was open? What if everybody was blanketed? No, Kirk needs to protect the ball when he gets sacked. I know that. And there are times when Kirk can throw the football away. There was one sack that I was like, Kirk, you rolled out of the pocket, bruh. Don't clam up and take a sack for 8 yards. Throw the ball out of bounds. He could have thrown it away there, but he did it. But John Perez says, how about D'Angelo Hall in this game? Guess he's not washed up after all, right? He was outstanding, man. He was outstanding. JP Nola says, hell yeah, defense is for real. Kirk is for real. Get healthy and add a running game, and this is a contending team. Too many drops. We needed more draws and screens in this game to help out the line. Exactly. I didn't know what Jay Gruden was doing. Don't wait until 3rd and 18 to run a draw. Run a draw on 1st and 10. Run a draw on 2nd and 8. Run a draw on 2nd and 10. Loosen this defense up. They want to rush up the field and be aggressive and come after us? Run a draw. Run a screen. They don't got to be the same screens we've been running all year to the perimeter. What about a middle screen? Have Chris Thompson stay in the block, then release, middle screen. See what we get out of that. Be creative. I just thought we were just too predictable. The drop back game wasn't working. They were coming after us. Lil Bam 19 says, great resilient win by the Redskins. Redskins Nation should be proud. We are. We definitely are. I still am floored at the fact that we were able to win this game. It makes you upset at the fact that we lost to the Cowboys last week, because I know some of the guys had a week to prepare for this. Like T.J. Clemens didn't expect to have to play last week. Tony Bergstrom, all those guys that, Ari Kwanjo. Shout out to Ari Kwanjo. Shout out to Tyler Catalina, even though I wanted to bust him upside his goddamn head on that stupid ass block in the back when it would have been 3rd and 2. What are you pushing Michael Bennett for? You're not even a part of the play, bruh. You didn't even impact the play with that little push. That wasn't worth 10 yards. Killed that drive. We were going for points. Why? But still, shout out to Tyler Catalina, Momo for staying in the game. T.J. Clemens, even though he got his ass whooped and was a turnstile for much of the game, shout out to those dudes for gutting it out, man, and giving it a run. No, they weren't perfect. No, Kirk got his ass whooped in this game, but still, when we needed them to protect late in the game, they protected, gave Kirk a chance. Shout out to the offensive line. JP Nola says, agrees, sign Zach now, keep this D together, the time to draft a top back and bring in a top receiver. Man, it felt good. This one felt good. I'm not going to lie to you. Rodney Ray says, great that joined the click notification bell and didn't miss this. I'm glad you didn't miss either. FBG Tony says, huge win. Flexing the muscle, man. This one was big, man. I mean, this one was big. John Perez says, in the words of Kirk, you like that? Holy cow, I'm going to enjoy this one all week. You should, man. I won't enjoy it all week because I'll only allow myself to bask in the win for about a good 48. And then Tuesday, when we get up here for the Redskins report, I'm going to start to turn my focus on to the Minnesota Vikings. They're coming off of a bye week. They're one of the best teams in the league. They're 6-2 right now. They're 5-2. No, 6-2, I believe. They're playing outstanding football. They're confident. They're going to come into FedEx and expect to win. They may have Teddy Bridgewater back. So that's going to be a big challenge for us. We're hoping it's Case Keenum, but it may be Teddy Bridgewater. In any event, I feel good about this one. You should too, because it seemed like the season was heading down a path of destruction, and they rewrited the path. They re-navigated the track that we were on for this season, and all of a sudden now, you leave this game as a Redskins fan thinking, why not us? Why not this season? And I told you there are a ton of teams around the league saying, why not us? Why not this year? Why can't this be our time? And we're looking around with all these injuries, and we're saying, why can't we compete for a playoff berth? I'm not saying do something big, because we're so banged up. In order to do what we ultimately set out to do, which is win a Super Bowl, win a playoff game, all of those things, win the division, you got to be a lot healthier than we are. But why can't we compete for a playoff berth? That's all we're looking at. You just want to get in, and once you get in, all bets are off. Chris Edwards says, I'm so proud of Dox, and he came up with the catch of the year for us. He made up for the Kansas City game. Hashtag HTTR. FBG Tony says, the Doc made the play. The Doc was in tonight, man. Hey, BFG, celebrate out there for us out in Pacific Northwest, man. I know you're around a lot of Seahawks fans. Let them have it for me, man. Let them have it one time for me. Matthew Lynch says, coverage was excellent, but pass rush gave Russell too much room to make plays, and play calling didn't allow us to get receivers open. I'd actually argue that the pass rush was outstanding. I thought our defensive line played their ass off. I thought Anthony Lanier played his ass off. I thought that Julian Gillette had some good rushes. Kerrigan. I thought the D-line actually got after Wilson. He's just more athletic than we are, so he was able to escape. But I thought there was a ton of pressure on him throughout the game. They flushed him. Now, he was able to get away and run and extend and do what Russell Wilson does. And late in the game, they got smart and finally put Zach Brown on him as a spy. But I thought that the defensive line actually was really good. They got a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson, and he was not comfortable. He had to escape, and there's a reason why he threw 2 picks in this game. There's a reason why his numbers weren't great for the most part of this game. He was 1 of 8 on third downs to start this game up. It was only in the fourth quarter when they really started to make plays, and things started to break down, and the defense was a little bit more gassed because the offense wasn't sustaining drives. It's only then when he really started to hurt us. But I thought the defense was defensive line in particular played well in this game. John Perez says, we just stole a win at one of the most intimidating stadiums in the league. Give Cousins his money. Deron Johnson says, congrats on your win today. Wow. Wow is correct. Rams All Day 95 says, congrats on the W. And, hey, Rams, Merry Christmas. We just gave you an early Christmas gift. That's from us to Sean McVay as Redskins fans. Do with it what you must and what you will. You want to squander this 1-game lead we just gave you? That's on you. But we just gave you an early Christmas gift. That's addressed to Sean McVay. You're welcome. JP Nola says, besides not downing it at the 1-yard line, which I don't blame him, Seattle made a major bonehead move going for 2. Why? We be up 2 instead of 3. Also went for 2 early on for no reason. No, I understood both times why they went for 2. The first time they went for 2, it was to tie the game up, because at the rate the game was going at that time, they didn't know how many more times they were going to get down there. And with your field goal kicker having already missed 3 kicks, you didn't want to leave the score at 10 to 9 or 8 to 10 and have to rely on a Blair Walsh 42-yard field goal to win the game when the guy was 0 for 3. So I understood their thought, and it was the fourth quarter already, so I get it. The second time they went for 2, and what a crazy 2-point conversion that was when Swearinger picked it off. I thought if he would, after he juked Russell Wilson and he fell down, the move was to go back outside, not across the field where all the traffic was. But in any event, the second time they went for 2, it was because they wanted to put the pressure on our rookie kicker. Because if it's 16-all after the touchdown, which if they would have got that 2-point conversion, it would have been 16-all. And then he would have had to make the kick to give us the lead. That's a lot of pressure on the young kicker. So their mind was, hey, make their young kicker have to make the extra point to take the lead. So they went for 2 in 2 spots where they needed to go for 2. Netzel's Toy 01 says, most disappointing Seahawks game so far. Giving up these big plays is a habit at this point. Not to take away from what the Redskins did this game. Good game. No. It's got to be a disappointing game. You guys had no business losing this game. Your field goal kicker went 0 of 3. You gave up big plays down the stretch after your defense gave you a shot. The offense took advantage, gave you the lead. The defense gives it right back. Yeah, this is really disappointing. You guys should have found a way to win this game. I thought you were going to do that, but somehow you didn't. Buffalo pregame says, when the Seahawks nearly came back, I was annoyed because I knew the Seahawks didn't deserve to win this one. I thought they were going to come back and take it too. And I expected that. I fully expected them to find a way to win this game because of how our season was going and all the injuries. We were not destined to do anything this year with all the injuries, and yet we found a way to get the game, get it done and win this game. Boba says, let's have ourselves a season, hashtag HTTR. You want to. And it's just one game, but it feels good, man. It feels damn good. I'm not going to lie to you. Let's take a few more before this Sunday night game, and we'll get to the Dallas game at halftime of this Sunday night game. And it feels good, too, because Seattle has been a house of horrors for us. And the last 2 times we've been in the playoffs, they've been a team to eliminate us. So it just feels good sometimes to just get a little bit of get back against a team that's been a thorn in your side of late, you know. Cajun Red 63 says, tell Kirk to stay away from Sherman. He messed with the line, but thankfully he didn't get bitten. Sherman should have had a pick. He dropped one early in the ball game. But again, with those types of players, you can go after them. You just need to be selective when you do. Doc had a catch on him on a play where it should have been pass interference because he was molesting him, but Dick Sherman got away with it as he normally does. And yeah, he easily could have thrown a pick to him. Dominic Garland says, we ain't dead yet, Lou. Yeah, I'm surprised. I had buried us. The only thing I hadn't done was put the headstone out. But we were buried. I was ready to close the casket, lower it into the ground, and now open up that damn casket. We not dead yet. You're right. Shalea Jones says, what surprised you most about this game? The defense. The defense surprised me the most in this game. I did not think we had this kind of defensive effort in us against a team that was hot, a team that scored 41 points last week, a team that had won 4 straight. In that environment, I didn't think the defense would rise to the occasion for 4 quarters. We've seen this defense play well for a quarter, 2 quarters, hell, even 3 quarters. We haven't seen this type of performance from this defense very often this year outside of the Raiders game. We haven't seen a 4-quarter performance from our defense like we did tonight since the Raiders game. And that's really been the only game we've had a 4-quarter performance from our defense. And we won both of those games. John Perez says, I called this game as an upset just like I called the Raiders game an upset. Wow. I had no idea. I would have bet everything I had that we were going to lose this game. JP Nola says, how sweet it is to finally beat Seattle. I'm sleeping like a baby tonight. Mandraw says, I felt angry when they didn't give the Hawks that 10-second runoff. You know why, LOL. Absolutely. I mean, they botched that at the end of the game. That's a farce. NFL should be ashamed of themselves. AP9000 says, wow, Lou, what a great fight they put up. P.S. Thanks for telling me not to pick the Skins because I didn't. Now I'm pretty sure I'm below the Mendoza line. Thanks, LOL. I don't care. We got the W. I got a loss too. And I told you that, but the only reason you listened to me is because you believed me. You believed that we were going to lose this game. I didn't have to sell you on that too hard. You knew the truth. And it just happened to be a lie this week. And both of us are equally excited that it was a lie, that it was not truth. It was not facts. But you didn't pick him because you thought he's right. He's right. There's too many injuries. We're on the road. Tough environment. Good Seahawks team. They've won 4 straight. Everything was stacked up against us. And yet we found a way to win. It's crazy. John Saluter says, if you could have one person from injury back for the rest of the season, who would it be? That's a good question. Obviously, it'd be a defensive player because offensively, as banged up as we are, all of those guys have a chance to come back. Trent Williams, with his floating kneecap, I might, if I had a chance, I may just erase his injury and just have him be healthy again, all over again. Boy, do we miss him at left tackle. What he does in a screen game, what he does in protecting Kirk, what he does in a run game can't be duplicated. So he'd be number 1 on my list. But if you're talking about a guy that's on IR right now with an injury that is done for the season, I think you've got 3 options. You've got Jonathan Allen, you've got Trent Murphy, and you've got Mason Foster are the only guys that are on IR that are impact players on this football team. And of those 3, I'd probably take Jonathan Allen back. We missed Trent Murphy, and I think he was our best pure pass rusher last year. But I think we got enough outside backers to get through the season. We're hurting on the interior for guys that can get to the quarterback. Allen was a guy that could do that. So I'd probably want Jonathan out. That's a hell of a question, though. It's a real good question, John. Gary B says, Davis and Dotson doing it again, too. VD was outstanding in this game. I mean, I don't know where we'd be without him the last 2 years with Jordan Reed being banged up. VD has been a godsend for us. Evan Hickson says, dude, Dotson is earning his stripes. Yes, he is. Zimba Sexy One says, Kirk did not play well today. We should be talking about this defense, but it's like y'all don't want to talk about the real MVP, which was the D. I don't know what game you were watching. Kirk didn't play well. I don't know what game you were watching. But we talked about the defense. Again, you weren't listening, and I don't know what game you were watching. So we definitely disagree with much of your statement. But the defense was definitely MVP of the game. I'm not denying that at all. I've already stated that multiple times. Like, a lot of people are going to give Kirk credit because of what he did, but this was a defensive win. But make no mistake about it, for as good as the defense played, if Kirk doesn't have that final drive, we're talking about how great of a defensive effort it was, but it wasn't enough. So you must give Kirk credit. And how he can only incomplete 11 passes and get sacked as much as he did, be pressured as much as he did with no run game, with 4 funnies in front of him, and you're talking about he had a bad game, he didn't play well. Again, those are the types of people I don't even try to waste my breath on anymore. Because they don't get it and they don't want to get it. Daniel Pimrose says, when we went up 17-14, did you have a flashback to the Detroit game last year when they scored on us with a minute left on the clock? No, I didn't actually, because this defense is better than last year's defense. That didn't even pop into my mind, but what I will say I did do was I said, oh, we're going to overtime. What did pop in my head was Kansas City earlier in the season. You know, when it seemed like, okay, we're tied up. You know, we're going to overtime. And 2 plays later, they're in field goal range to win the game. That did pop into my mind. So I thought we were going to overtime. It was no doubt, but because Nick Rose had made the extra point, I was cool with going to overtime. I had already made up my mind. I know we're giving it up, but it felt good to know they had no timeouts. But when has that ever stopped the team from moving the football down the field on this? Melvin Glowson says, I think big catches by Dotson down the stretch give him tremendous confidence. It should. It should. And you saw how happy he was on the sidelines after he made that catch, how everybody else was so happy for him. Those are the types of plays that will galvanize this team and not only build confidence in Kirk to throw the football to Josh Doctson in situations like that, but just Josh Doctson overall, give him the confidence to know I can make plays in this league, because sometimes I think he's doubting himself. Jonathan Lynch says, do you think we will get some players back from injury for next week's game? Yeah, I do. We got to see what's going to happen first. The realist sports fan says, just happy to see a great game today. It was a great game. Walter Young says, do you think the Skins can go on a 4-game win streak? One game at a time, man. We got a tough game against Minnesota. They're 6-2. Tough game against New Orleans the week after that. They're 6-2. Pump your brakes, Walter. One game at a time. We got 1. Can't get to 4 without 2. Can't get to 4 without 3. Let's just get 1 at a time. Let's try to find a way to beat Minnesota, but let's just enjoy this one for the time being. In any event, that's it. We got to get out of here. Sunday night games already started, and I don't want to hold you guys up too much longer. The extended version of the R3, what a game. We're proud of the fellas tonight. I'm absolutely amazed at how they came out and played, and never have I been prouder in a regular season game that wasn't against a divisional foe, family member. Have I been this proud of the fellas in a regular season game? There have been regular season games against teams in the division that I've been really proud of my team in, like the Philly game in 2015 on the road to clinch the division, like the Dallas game in 12 at home, where we were able to clinch it with Robert Griffin III. The Giants game that same season, like 2 weeks before on a Monday night, Sunday night, where we were able to put it out against the Giants. Hell, the Giants game last year when we were 0-2, needing to go to the Meadowlands and win, and we did. There's been some great games by this team over the last 5 years, but against a team outside of the division, you know, the Tampa game, of course, you like that game, Cold Red game. That one sticks in our memory bank as well, but For this team to be decimated the way that it was going into this game, no one giving us a chance, including most of us as fans, not even giving us a shot. Hats off to Jay Gruden, even though I thought he didn't call a great game offensively. Hats off to Gruden for getting the fellas prepared to play and compete with who was up, who was available. Way to get those guys to compete and give ourselves a chance to win. Great job by the defense for keeping us in this ball game and giving us a shot when the offense had absolutely nothing going for much of the afternoon. And finally, hats off to the offense. They were stagnant for much of the day, but when we needed them to make plays, like early in the game on that drive where they were able to go get a touchdown, and like late when we were down 4 and seemingly going to lose this game, offense responds with a 4-play, 70-yard drive, much like they did in Los Angeles when they tied the game up at 20 and Kirk took us down the field on a 5-play, 80-yard drive or so, 75-yard drive for a touchdown. Did it again here. 4 plays, 70 yards, touchdown, take the lead, ultimately win the game 17-14. I am a Redskins fan, etched in burgundy and gold. My Redskins spirit will never die. Redskins spirit will never fold until we meet again. Hail to our beloved Redskins. What more can I say? Not really much more for me to say, other than I'm so proud of the fellas, man. I couldn't be more proud of them in this game. Again, a game that no one gave them a shot, including myself and a lot of you out there. And they rose to the occasion on the road, down a number of key players with a bunch of backups. They go out and they somehow get back to 500 on the season at 4-4 with a 17-14 victory. This one feels good. This one tastes great. Celebrate, guys. We're back to 500, and don't look now. We're right back into the thick of things in the NFC wildcard race. After 9 weeks of football, pretty safe to say we're going to have a shot to have ourselves a season. So this one feels good, but got a long way to go. But damn, this one feels good. Feels good to be a Redskins fan today. It's going to do it for you, man, Louie T. Enjoy the Sunday night game. We'll be back at halftime of that game for Cowboys and Chiefs. I just had to go extended version of the R3 tonight with that kind of win. And so I'll see you guys later. Enjoy.